Welcome back. Well, Anthony Albanese took us all to the polls to divide us on the colour of our skin, but he hasn't quite ruled out another in the future.
I've made it clear that I wanted to hold one referendum while I was Prime Minister, and we did that. He is fully aware that I support an Australian as our head of state, but I also respect the decisions which have been made and our system of government. And I think that's important. If you look at the way that I conduct myself, I always support the institutions which are there. I think that's important.
So there you go. But there is one referendum he's ruling out, and that is on a republic after meeting with King Charles at Balmoral Castle.
Yes, well, joining us now for more on this is former Speaker of the House, Bronwyn Bishop. Bronwyn, good to see you as always. Thank you for joining us. So It seems like a referendum on the republic is dead in the water under Anthony Albanese. What do you think?
Well, I've got two things to say first. Never get in the way of a Republican trying to meet a royal. Elbows everywhere. Second thing is, once bitten, twice shy. I mean, the first voice referendum was an absolute disaster for Albanese, and I would say that one on a republic would be exactly the same.
I agree with you, but don't you think that Anthony Albanese, he will want to make his place in history? I mean, he's announced recognition of a Palestinian state, which was his moment in the sun. You're not thinking he might be tempted, especially if he wins another election, to give the Republic one more go?
No, I think he doesn't want a slap in the face again.
Fair enough. All right, speaking of slaps in the face, I want to talk to you about the current coalition leader, Sussan Lee. She didn't have a good week last week as Andrew Hastie dominated the headlines, talking about net zero, talking about the importance of Australian manufacturing, talking about the importance of getting a grip on immigration. Let me ask you point blank, would Andrew Hastie be a better leader than Sussan Lee?
Well, I think Andrew Hastie will be a future leader. How that comes about remains to be seen. But the point I make again and again in opposition is it's a competition of ideas and what people have got to say. And the person who captures the attention, the imagination, is the one who will finally strive out to be successful. So this idea, I mean, John Hewson made the same mistake. He clamped everybody down. We can't have discussion. There was too much of that went on to Peter Dutton. You need to have discussion in opposition so that a voice can come out. And the point that Hastie has been making with regard to immigration was made very, very strongly by Donald Trump in that magnificent speech he gave at the United Nations. My goodness, didn't they trip themselves up beautifully? Had the prompts worked, they might have got 15 minutes. They didn't. They got an hour. And also the question on proper jobs, productive jobs. Yep. People are not satisfied with redistributing the profits that other people make into their pockets when they haven't made it themselves. They want dignified work. They want to see productivity. One of the worst things I think that the Keating government did was to close down the apprentice training school that used to exist in the outskirts of, in the western part of Sydney for training apprentices. They were the best apprentices in Australia could ever have. They went into the Defence Force and then they came out and went into civil life. That was shut down. The car industry was shut down, unfortunately, by a coalition government, when I can tell you, as a former Defence Industry Minister, I used to go around talking about the importance of skills that we needed to defend ourselves.
Can I just ask you this, though, Bronwyn, if it's all right? What does Sussan Lee do? She's got the position of leader, but Andrew Hastie is starting to look like the leader. So in that situation, what does Sussan Lee do? She
can lift a game. And by doing that, she can come out first and foremost by having some policies. Let's get out of net zero. Let's say we have to have cheap electricity for Australia to prosper. Then we can have some manufacturing. There are so many things that can be said now. You can't afford to say nothing for 12 months.
But is she hamstrung by the moderates, Bronwyn?
Well, you've got to take them on. I mean, the moderates have been around for a long time. I took them on and was quite successful in doing so.
This leadership by consensus, well, we want to consult and we'll get working groups together.
Doesn't work. You've got to have conviction, but you've got to allow debate to take place in that party room.